And now, Knock 2 Studios presents Common Censored.
Back to Common Censored. I'm Lord Sterling, and this is episode 257. Google monopoly to be broken up. Maybe YouTube getting freed as well. We'll look into that. Biden threatens Americans, say they'll pay the price if they criticize the government's hurricane response. Trump requesting POTUS-level secret service, including military aircraft escorts, I'm assuming. Colorado sheriff endorses Trump at Aurora rally today. That and a whole lot more. Make sure to tune in Monday through Fridays. We cover all the crazy clown world clusterfuck chaos on Common Censored. Use hashtag Common Censored when you share the show. And hashtag #InfoInfantry. You can find us on X at Lord Sterling _, as well as over on Getter, Gab, Minds, etc. Thanks to all of our new followers over on Rumble. We're just a couple away from 1,200, so if you're new to the show, go smash that follow button. Links to all the stories we covered today, articles, videos, etc. will be posted down in the video description on Rumble. So if you're watching this later on and need to maximize the efficiency of your focus and attention, then click that show more button. Find the topics that are interesting to you, and Mama Mac will be adding timestamps throughout the broadcast so you can jump right to the points in the episode where we cover the things that you are interested in. Disclaimer. Views expressed on Common Censored are only opinions. Assume everything we say is false and research for yourself. We're not giving medical, legal, or financial advice. The only advice we are giving is think for yourself. Question authority. Think for yourself. Question authority. Boom! All right, let's hop into the news. I saw people in the chat asking about the Northern Lights. Well, apparently we have some images of Northern Lights that show a little bit more than red. Mama Mac from Connecticut. Sean from Anderson Inc. sent me these pictures, screenshots that he grabbed somewhere. So we got purple in the first one. We got kind of a yellow, pink, red, orange, maybe a little bit of green in this one as well. More pictures over here showing purples and fuchsias or something. So apparently people were seeing the Northern Lights, Mama Mac, but yeah, I don't think it's natural Northern Lights. They were exciting the atmosphere with all kinds of electrical charges down in the Gulf to energize Milton and Helene and everything. So it's probably dispersed over the globe at this point and is resulting in us being able to see the same type of phenomena that the Northern Lights are. That's my guess anyway. So I don't know exactly what's going on, but I don't think it's natural, Mama Mac and co and friends. Let's see what we got next on the list. Donald J. Trump was in Aurora, Colorado today. Look at the crowd over here, even though this was taken at only 6 a.m. this morning. 6 a.m.? I'm still awake at 6 a.m. Entire buttloads of patriots. Massive amounts of people, which continued on later into the day. Tim Young posted a video, time-lapse video, showing the massive line of people waiting to get into this rally. Over here, this is the line for the Trump rally in Aurora, Colorado. No free concert necessary. They didn't have to lure in the Patriots with promises of, Bon Iver or whatever other shit bands, Megan Thee Stallion or whoever they want to bring up today, for to attract the lefties to go hang out with Kamala to pretend she has crowds. Nope. There's bazillions of people here organically to support Trump. So pretty good to see. Pretty intense stuff. We got the link for the entire rally if you guys want to watch some of it. I guess we'll just check out a couple seconds. Fast forward. Okay, here we go. Crowd in beast mode. They won't shut up.
Thank you very much, everybody.
End migrant crime. Deport illegals now. I like this background. Text Trump to 88022.
And it's great to be back in this beautiful state with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. That's what you are. And before going further, I want to let everyone who is still recovering from the hurricanes that hit Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee, and Virginia to know that we are thinking of them and we are praying for them. God bless them. God bless them. We have a lot of great people today, and I'll do it at the beginning because we have a lot to talk about. What the hell is happening with our country? What are they doing? What are they doing to Colorado? They're ruining your state. They're ruining your state. So let's do this. Let's just very quickly mention some of the really great people and great patriots, and then we're going to get back in.
There's lots of great patriots. Let's skip ahead and jump over to a notable event that occurred at the rally. George at B. Hizzy tweets, posting over here, the sheriff of one of the biggest counties in Colorado just got up on stage at the Aurora rally to endorse Trump, saying only he can stop the gangster invasion plaguing the state. This is huge, so to speak.
Many years ago, the city and county of Denver announced that we were a sanctuary city that welcomed illegal immigrants around the world in that community. And therefore, it was incumbent upon the rest of the Denver metro area to deal with that aftermath. Some of these migrants are hardened criminals, they're sex offenders, they're murderers, and they're members of transnational criminal organizations like Trenday Argonne. I'm a proud graduate of the FBI National Academy, but even the director of the FBI said, quote, dangerous individuals are coming across our southern border. We don't know who they are or where they are. Ask yourself, could there be a terror plot right now within our borders being planned against the American citizens? That's what we need to be concerned about, and that is because border policies. Hundreds of thousands of Americans have died across the country, and that is because of the fentanyl that has made it across our open border.
Oh, that was funny with the hands going up in front of the camera there. Nice. So good stuff. Police know what's up, and they know Kamala is the one importing the illegals. Trump will do the opposite. Yep. After the rally, just a few minutes ago, he released a big statement, too. The Occupied America statement. Check this out. I've been saying this about YouTube for a while, I call it Occupied YouTube sometimes, but Donald J. Trump says, we are now known all throughout the world as Occupied America. But to everyone here in Colorado and all across our nation, I make you this vow. November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America. I will rescue Aurora and every town that has been invaded and conquered, and we will put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail or kick them the hell out of our country. In honor of Jocelyn Nungaray, Blake and Riley, Rachel Morin, and all of the others that are dead and mortally wounded at the hands of migrants who should have never been allowed in our country. I'm announcing today that upon taking office, we will have an Operation Aurora at the federal level. To expedite removals of this savage gang, I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. No person who has inflicted the violence and terror that Kamala Harris has inflicted on this community can ever be allowed to become president of the United States. That's why I like to say, deport Democrats. Deport Democrats. All of them. Oh, breaking news. President Trump announces Operation Aurora to expedite removal of the savage gangs in America that Kamala allowed in. He will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to target and dismantle every migrant crime network operating in America. So that's pretty hardcore. Pretty hardcore. Deport them all. Deport them all. Let's jump over to our next topic. We have a report that Trump has stopped golfing after Biden administration tells him Secret Service can't protect him on golf courses. They don't have the capacity. I'm sorry, sir, we don't have the power. NBC News reported Friday that Biden administration officials from the intelligence agencies and the Secret Service have told President Trump that the Secret Service cannot protect him from potential assassins when he is golfing, basically forcing Trump to suspend playing golf until after the election. I'm just picturing now Trump with like 3 Secret Service guys on each side of him, all of them like carrying big bulletproof plastic, bulletproof glass walls across the golf course, just surrounding him, only moving aside so he can knock the ball through the gap. That'd be hilarious. That'd be hilarious. But yeah, they're saying we can't protect you if you're playing golf. We don't have the logistical capacity to protect a golf course. It's impossible. Insane. Trump has been the target of 2 assassination attempts and is also being targeted for death by Iran. I don't know about that. Kristen Taylor. At least they're the fall guys, the puppets, the patsies. But yeah, Secret Service saying we can't protect him. Whistleblower recently came forward to Senator Josh Hawley alleging the Secret Service is trying to cover up deficiencies protecting Trump. We covered that. And now they're saying he can't golf. NBC News reporter Dasha Burns, who was covering the Trump rally in Butler July 13th, posts, Trump won't golf until after the election. Security concerns have kept him off the golf course since the second assassination attempt. It's a big change as golf has been a major part of his lifestyle. He's going to be mad. He's going to be so mad. Yeah, Pope Mobile on the golf course, Threeper. Yep. Oh, man. So I don't know. This is crazy. Now he's requested, citing concerns about the drone and missile attacks, those whatever kind of shoulder-fired missiles they allegedly have brought over the borders. Trump is asking again for additional Secret Service, asking the Biden for POTUS-level protection in the final weeks of the campaign, including military aircraft. It was reported Friday that Trump stopped playing golf. And while security has been enhanced at Trump events, the Trump campaign has been forced to cancel, downsize, and relocate several events due to reported lack of resources by Secret Service and other federal agencies to protect Donald J. Trump. Joe Biden told France 24 reporter Fraser Jackson on Friday that Trump should receive presidential-level protection. The first time he has said that, quote, for the first time, POTUS tells me that Donald Trump should be afforded the same Secret Service protections as if, quote, he were sitting president, unquote. He continued, quote, give him all that he needs. If it fits within that category, that's fine. But if it doesn't, he shouldn't. So Biden conceding. We'll see if he's actually able to get this type of protection. I don't know, because Biden doesn't really seem to be controlling anything, to be honest. So we'll have to see what happens with that. Let's move on to our next topic. Meanwhile, as Trump is trying to get more Secret Service and trying to win the fight we have different stuff going on.
Meanwhile,
up in Oregon, we've got reports that voter pamphlets don't include Donald Trump. He's also allegedly not listed on the Oregon state government website under presidential candidates. So what the hell is going on up there? This is Libs of TikTok reporting. Oh, context has been added. According to the Oregon Secretary of State's office, Trump-Vance campaign did not submit an optional statement or pay the required $3,500 for candidates to appear in the state's pamphlet. What? I find that very unlikely. I find that extremely unlikely. Not like they don't have $3,500. Probably got lost in the mail like all the Trump mail-in ballots in 2020. Oh yeah, he just never submitted the data we need. Not even on the list. Ridiculous. Hilarious. What's this? CIA allegedly spied on Donald Trump while running against Barack Obama. Now's the perfect time to reshare this. Oh yeah, we knew about that already. Let's see what we got next on the list. We got some big news involving Google and potentially YouTube, as the DOJ indicates it's considering a Google breakup following the recent monopoly ruling. CNBC reporting over here. DOJ indicates it's considering Google breakup following monopoly ruling. Tim Pool's Gay Music. Is it Oregon or Oregon? I just bounce back and forth between them both because I don't know. Oregon Trail, Oregon, Portland, Oregon. I don't know. I hear people say it both ways. DOJ, yeah. So the Department of Justice late Tuesday indicated that it was considering a possible breakup of Google as an antitrust remedy. DOJ said it was, quote, considering behavioral and structural remedies that would prevent Google from using products such as Chrome, Play, and Android to advantage Google search. The judge has yet to decide on the remedies, and Google will likely appeal, drawing out the process potentially for years. Robert Barnes has been covering this consistently. And there's another lawsuit involving Rumble as well, suing Google for hiding them in the search results and giving YouTube preferential treatment. Department of Justice late Tuesday made recommendations for Google's search engine business practices, indicating that it was considering a possible breakup of the tech giant as an antitrust remedy, which would be nuts. It could result in YouTube being freed from the beast, which would be amazing. CBS News Miami also covering U.S. Department of Justice considering asking a federal judge to force Google to sell parts of its business in order to eliminate its online search monopoly. Break up Google? Yes. Justice Department says it may ask judge to force Google to sell Chrome, Android, and other units, hopefully YouTube. That's what I want them to sell. We got to free the tube. Free the YouTube. Let's jump over to the Quartering, who had a good video about this.
Well, it looks like big tech is put on notice, or has been put on notice by the Department of Justice, as they are now considering actually breaking up Google. I have no idea. I'm not a lawyer or an expert on, I think the last time something like this was done was like the telephone companies, was at the 70s. But Google does have a virtual monopoly on search. They have systems set up in place, in my opinion, that makes it almost impossible for new competitors to compete with search, because they also control the mobile market with Samsung, by the way. With the Android phone, they control 60% of all cell phones, 80 to 90% of all searches. They also control the Google Play Store, which controls alternative options. It controls whether or not they're allowed on the market. So stuff like, for example, Gab or even Parler or many of these other apps throughout the years, Google just bans them off the Google Play Store, and suddenly you don't have access to 70% of your viewership. Something like 75% of my viewers, are watching on mobile devices. And the monopoly is real. And while Rumble continues to get better and better, it's still, the overwhelming percentage of viewers are still coming from YouTube. Now, I hope that, by the end of 2025, it's closer to, 70-30 would be a massive win. 65-35 would be a dream come true. Obviously, not everyone's going to just leave YouTube. That's just not going to happen. But if the government breaks it up, in particular, certain aspects of its search market, it could have a ripple effect that would be great for, big tech. You can see terrible for big tech, great for new tech. Chris Pavlovsky wrote, "This is massive news, massive." Unusual Wales tweeted, U.S. Justice Department just told federal judge that the judge is considering recommending that Google be forced to sell off parts of its operations.
Smash!
Now, what are those parts?
Smash!
I don't know. Does the stock market believe? Let's see. Well, it looks like this was announced. Google pretty much fell off a cliff last night since it's been announced. It's down. I guess it's not crazy, but it did plummet down.
That's a good question. If Kansas is Kansas, then why is Arkansas Arkansas? Good question.
Let's see if this has been positive for Rumble stock. Nope. Man, I just keep buying more and more Rumble stock because it's always on sale. It's always in that $5 range. It feels like, to me, every month when I get my paycheck, I put like $1,000 into Rumble, and like, hopefully one day, I'll look back at all the shares about $5 and be laughing. If they're at $20, that'd be incredible. The U.S. Department of Justice is considering asking a federal judge to force Google to sell parts of its business in order to eliminate its online search monopoly. This would be a massive net positive in the free speech world. I am not a corporate business expert, but as a fan of free speech, weakening anybody who has the level of control over free speech that Google does through YouTube and other applications, this would be huge. In a court filing late Tuesday, federal prosecutors also said the judge could ask the court to open to competitors the underlying data that Google uses to power its ubiquitous search engine and AI products. See, I care less about. I don't think they should do that. It's Google's product. If Google's product is the best, then it should have every bit of market share that it does. As someone who's a fan of capitalism, what I want is controls to where they're actively preventing competitors from entering the market. That's all I'm worried about. Because I don't think Google search is very good anymore. There are other options out there that people are slowly moving to, whether it's Brave Search or Yandex or whatever the case is. But there's other options out there. I'm just concerned with making sure Google is not, interfering in, putting their finger on the scales in elections, boosting, deboosting based on political stuff. That's what I'm interested in. If they have the best search engine, then I don't care if they have 100% of the market, as long as they're not using it in a negative manner, which in my opinion, they are. For more than a decade, Google has controlled the most popular distribution channels, leaving rivals with little to no incentive to bother competing for users. The antitrust enforcers wrote in a filing, full remedying of these harms requires not only ending Google's control of distribution today, but ensuring Google cannot control the distribution of tomorrow. To that end, the department said it is considering asking for structural changes to stop Google from leveraging products such as Chrome browser, Android operating system, AI products, or App Store to benefit in its search business. See, now that's where I'm into it. The fact that everything's so inexplicably tied together, as long as they're, allowing a better product to compete fairly, then I'm okay with them being
right. Which they don't. They have the power to make and break even popular products like Parler. You guys remember Parler a couple years ago? Delisted from the Play Store or whatever, and tanked when it was trending majorly.
Where they are, but it's just that's not what they do. There's a reason there hasn't been a single video on demand website that's ever competed with YouTube. Rumble is doing the best it can to kind of stay in the market, but I'm curious how Rumble's going to be post election. Rumble's probably going to be at an all-time high over the next 35 days, but how will it be after the election? I'll see. Right? Many people, for example, follow me there. Many of you are watching me there. It's not uncommon for me to get 20 or 30,000 views on a Rumble video, and on YouTube have video that gets like 80 to 100,000. So it's definitely closing the gap. But we're in an election year, so it's going to be interesting to see how plugged in people are to Rumble. That's why I think they're trying to diversify their content so much.
Boom. So we really need this to happen. Google needs to be Hulk smashed into smithereens, so to speak, and scattered to the winds like the CIA. As JFK famously said. Let's check out this post about the same thing. It's long overdue, says Real Robert at real_Rob N. Arrest, prosecute, and incarcerate Google executives, including CEO Sundar Pichai, for interfering in the 2020 and 2024 presidential elections and crying like little bitches in 2016. Let's check in with this clip from Lou Dobbs talking about Google.
Employee telling Fox Today Google executives want to make sure the president loses in 2020. Listen to this.
When President Trump won in 2016, Google executives went up on stage right away and cried, literally tears streaming down their faces over the fact that President Trump won. They vowed
Thanos snapped Google. Yeah. Thanos snapped Google. Thanos snapped the federal government. Oh, man. Yeah, let's do it.
It would never happen again. And they want to use all of the power and all the resources that they have to control the flow of information to the public and make sure that Trump loses in 2020.
Yeah, they straight up openly announced they were going to weaponize their search algorithms, social media, all in coordination immediately following the 2016 loss. And that's exactly what they did. They started booting libertarians, booting conservatives. In one day, Facebook, Instagram, X, or before it was X, Twitter, all these platforms dropped Alex Jones, and then they started, since nobody reacted, nobody freaked out, they all started banning everybody. And I think that Category 5 Milton got knocked down to a Category 1 by the controllers, by these people with the weather weapons, because unlike when Alex Jones got banned and nobody freaked out, everybody was freaking out about the weather weapons being used to attack MAGA down south. And they were like, shit, if we go through with this, it's pretty obvious that this is weather weapons at this point. So I think that they backed off because we called them out, but nobody called them out when they banned Alex Jones. So they just accelerated the censorship campaign.
Well, he went on to say that Google and YouTube have been censoring political advertisements showing biased search results in order to influence the election. Employee.
Yep, super ridiculous. Laura Loomer on the 27th of September. President Trump says he will request the prosecution of Google at, quote, the maximum levels when he wins the election and becomes president of the United States. Donald Trump, this is after they came to the conclusion that they had monopoly search powers in last month. It has been determined that Google has illegally used a system of only revealing and displaying bad stories about Donald J. Trump. Some made up for this purpose while at the same time only revealing good stories about comrade Kamala Harris. This is an illegal activity, and hopefully the Justice Department will criminally prosecute them for this blatant interference of elections, if not, and subject to the laws of our country. Due process. I will request their prosecution at the maximum levels when I win the election and become president of the United States. LFG. LFG. So yeah, Google is all kinds of messed up. It's one of the most effective tools of controlling the thoughts and everything of people in the United States. Manipulating the public's perception of the information landscape, so to speak, like Plato's allegory of the cave, keeping them trapped in the cave. That's why X is so important right now. And Rumble, it's like tearing, like blowing a hole through the wall of Plato's cave and getting people a glimpse of the sky. So let's check out this video about Google and the connections in its legal representation and everything, but with Kamala and the establishment. Johnny Midnight posted this at its_the_dr. It's the doctor. DOJ going after Google for monopolizing search results and favoring Kamala Harris is all for show. Lead attorney Karen Dunn, representing Google, is a political advisor to Kamala Harris. Also, Karen Dunn is married to Brian Netter, Deputy Attorney General. So it's just a big, interconnected, nepotistic, conspiracy, basically.
You want to see how the government works, like how corrupt it is? Well, let me show you. Everybody loves a good flowchart, am I right? So right now, the DOJ, the Department of Justice, is going after Google for monopolizing search and search advertising, which I'm totally down with because they have way too much monopoly power. Now, the lead attorney representing Google in this antitrust case is Karen Dunn. Now, Karen Dunn is all sorts of problematic. A, Karen Dunn is married to Brian Netter, who happens to be the Deputy Attorney General. So right there, already
Conflict of
she's got
interest.
ties to both sides of the case. But that's not all. The Attorney General, Merrick Garland, was the wedding officiant for Brian and Karen. Merrick Garland, as the Attorney General, of course, is the head of the DOJ. Now let's go to the law firm, Paul Weiss. This is the law firm representing Google, which Karen Dunn is a partner of. And guess who else is tied to this law firm? It's this guy, Jonathan Cantor, the Assistant Attorney General for the Antitrust Division, which directly is overseeing this case against Google.
You don't say.
Karen Dunn here, guess what she's working on right now? Well, she is the political advisor to one Kamala Harris and actually helping her right now with debate prep. So that's kind of how it works. Google is going to probably get off pretty easy here because A, their lead attorney is pretty good buds with Kamala Harris. B, she is married to the Deputy Attorney General, DOJ connection. Also, their wedding was literally officiated by the Attorney General.
Wow.
On top of that, the guy that Google is going up against, the Deputy Attorney General of the Antitrust Division, used to work at the same law firm that represents Google right now. And then just to seal the deal, Google is Kamala's largest corporate donor. Some administration we got going on right now. Finally, I want to give a big shout out to the American Prospect. They're the ones that connected a lot of these dots together. They do some great reporting. It's a great publication. Everybody should definitely go check them out.
Oh, hey, wood chipper on sale. We got some wood chippers. We're going to need a lot of wood chippers. Tim Pool's Gay Music. Like loads and loads of wood chippers. Oh, man. So, yeah, highly frustrating, Mandy. Irritating me as well. Really brutal. How about this? Look at this. Joe Biden saying Americans will pay a price for criticizing his hurricane response. You're going to threaten Americans for your bad work?
I think those who have been spreading these lies to try to undermine the opposition are going to pay a price for it. I think those who...
What kind of price? That's a little sketchy, man. A little sketchy. This is a little sketchy, too. Laura Loomer posting this. Watch! Fox News host Jessica Tarlov, who is a Kamala Harris supporter and demon rat strategist, just incited violence against President Trump live on air. After he survived 2 assassination attempts, she should be fired for this. You're fired! This is the chance. We'll let her to say it. It's out of context, but nonetheless, it's like using crosshairs metaphors, or like, you can't be using these types of metaphors when there's lunatics out there who literally want certain people dead. Look what she said.
That this is the chance to put the final nail in the coffin so that you don't have Donald Trump on the ballot again.
I mean, it's pure evil, guys. These people are pure evil. 100% pure, unadulterated evil.
100% evil.
It's completely insane. But, you know, they just keep going and going, and they don't never get in any trouble. Just allowed to continue. How about this? Just in, President Trump has agreed to do a women's town hall on October 16th in Georgia at 11 a.m., hosted by Harris Faulkner of Fox News. The town hall will be all women. And the topic of the town hall is, quote, issues impacting women ahead of the election. This could be really good. Because one of the things that the brainwashed sheeple lefties, the lemmings who have only ever been subjected to controlled corporate media, tend to just blindly be programmed to believe is that Trump hates women's. Trump hates women's. He hates them. So, giving him the chance to interface directly with a whole bunch of women to assuage or ease their fears could be good. Let's check out this little clip here.
And active voters in our nation. It is essential that those voters understand where these presidential candidates stand on the issues, which they say matter most to them. Those key issues we'll talk about include the economy, abortion, immigration, healthcare, daycare, child care, and more. Members of the audience will put their questions to former President Trump. and current Republican White House nominee. Again, be sure to tune in Wednesday, October 16th, just right around the corner, right here on the Faulkner Focus. An active
Boom. Let's go. Let's go. Let's redeem the Don in the eyes of at least some ladies. Although most of the total brainwashed ladies out there are probably never going to watch Fox at all. So they probably will never even see any of this redemption arc, unfortunately. Next, let's hop again over to libs of TikTok. Breaking: Senator Roger Marshall, MD, of Kansas, Dr. Senator Roger Marshall, has confirmed that the professor who suggested men who don't vote for Kamala should be lined up and shot is no longer an employee at University of Kansas. So that's pretty good. Update: I'm glad to report that the professor who called for men to be, quote, lined up and shot, unquote, declaring open season on people who don't plan to vote for Kamala Harris, is no longer an employee at KU. Of course, we played this clip yesterday. Let's recap.
Got some serious problems. That's what frustrates me. There are going to be some males in our society that will refuse to vote for a potential female president because they don't think females are smart enough to be president. We could line all those guys up and shoot them. They clearly don't understand the way the world works. Did I say that? Scratch that from the recording. I don't want the deans hearing that I said that.
Bro.
Guys are smart.
You fucking idiot. These people are brain damaged. Highly brain damaged. So, good shit. He's been axed, so to speak. Metaphorically, to clarify. How about this one? Oh my God! MSNBC's Mika Shitbag Brzezinski freaks out after hearing undecided voters are not supporting Kamala Mamala. MSNBC's Mika Brzezinski almost had an on-air meltdown Friday after hearing a panel of undecided voters refusing to confirm they will vote for Comrade Kamala. Brzezinski was joined on the show by pollster and cunt Frank Luntz, who provided footage of an online focus group he held with some undecided Gen Z voters. One of these voters said she needed to do, quote, more research on the candidates, while another said he'll be writing in a candidate, as neither of Harris nor Trump have won his support. Mika, however, was not impressed with their concerns.
I had thought that Trump's debate performance would disqualify him. Then in the end, looking at the two candidates side by side.
You thought that Trump's debate performance would disqualify him? Where's the alert? We need an alert for this loser.
Retard alert! Retard alert, class!
Unbelievable. Who would say something stupid like that?
The American people have been waiting weeks and months to see that just as Biden's performance cost him the nomination, that Trump's performance would cost him the election. And I've had to walk that back a little bit because I think the race is dead even. I don't follow the national numbers at all. It's the 7 states, and in every one of those 7 states, it's within the margin of error. In fact, it's half the margin of error. So there's no way to call it right now, which is why these 4%, and that's it, these 4% races are impossible to predict. Now, they could all go for Harris. They could all go for Trump. But I'm questioning whether these undecided voters are even going to participate. I know you're going to play some sound.
Yeah.
But make no mistake, we are on a pin's edge right now. And the essential key point of this is that who they vote for is the next president of the United States.
So, Frank, let's listen to what some of the focus group participants had to say about why they are still undecided.
Raise your hand if you are undecided still at this point. If the election were held today, who would you vote for? If you had to pick, if the election were held today, between Trump, Harris, a write-in, and not voting?
Yeah, I think I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris. I just can't get over what happened in 2020 and what's been reaffirmed in the debates and the general, statements made during the campaign. not just a riot, but the alternative slate of elector schemes is a bridge too far for me.
Angelo, just if you can ask briefly, you've been a little bit leaning Harris, and I know tonight you raised some concerns. Why are you in the write-in camp right now?
In my opinion, the more I look back into it, the more I watch the debate, the more I look into her campaign. I cannot trust her. I'm not going to vote for Trump, but the more I think about it, the more I just don't know if I can vote for her because I just do not trust her. I'm more inclined to write someone who I feel like would best represent me through my vote.
Aisha, how about you? You raised your hand. If you had to vote today for Harris, why Harris?
I just want to see what she will do because I know she's going to have to run again later. So I'm hoping she will be an exemplary president for this term. That's my only reason.
Okay. And Abigail, how about you?
Just blind hope. I'm just hoping she'll be exemplary. I have no fucking idea what she's going to do. Get your head out of your ass.
Some people said some things tonight that motivated me to do a little bit more research about the other side to January 6th that I haven't heard about before. But the thing is, I do not want to vote for someone. I do not want to tell my children that I voted for someone that actually threatened democracy. You know what I mean? I need to analyze and think a little bit more before I just vote.
Yeah, you need to think a lot. Because democracy is fucking stupid. So yeah, you should tell your kids, I proudly voted for someone who threatened democracy. Fuck democracy. We don't want democracy. We want a constitutional republic where 51% of the voters can't vote away the rights of the other 49%. So that rules out democracy entirely. You got a lot of thinking to do.
For Trump.
Okay. So first of all, we thank everybody for participating. Absolutely no bad things to say about people who participate in these conversations. We thank you so much. But does anybody at this table need to take a...
The fact that she even said no bad things to say about people, that means she's thinking bad things in her head. And confession by projection, basically. Otherwise, if you weren't thinking bad shit, you wouldn't have to tell yourself not to say bad shit. Clearly she's thinking these people are fucking stupid. At least say it. Be honest. I'm telling you, those people are fucking idiots.
A deep breath because I do. I just do.
We've been listening to undecideds for weeks on 2A, and it's really hard to believe that there are still people who might vote third party or try to...
Look at these fucking clones. It's like they all came out of the same factory of just like a garbage mill.
Right in. It's just such a lack of understanding about the stakes and about why that's just throwing your vote away.
Oh, my God.
I just have to say, I'm just trying to find that grace
find the
in
grace.
This moment. But I will say, I'm a millennial. I'm not Gen Z, so maybe I'm not the best messenger. But we all have some friends who are saying neither of these candidates fully supports my views, and I think Gen Z comes from a generation where politics has been broken for a long time. Okay, I'm sympathetic.
Yeah, that's
what
right.
I would just
See you next
say
Tuesday,
is
factory.
The way to build power is to start with the reality that we have. And you don't want to throw away your vote. This is a choice between two people, and that's it. Right. So are you really going to do
These people are this is all just nonsensical garbage. Nonsensical garbage. Let's move over to our next topic. Just in, Obama Judge Chutkan agrees to unseal Jack Smith's quote-unquote evidence against Trump in dirty October surprise, but they won't release any information about FBI informants in the crowd or assets or operatives in the crowd on January 6th. Judge Tanya Chutkan agreed to unseal special counsel Jack Smith's evidence, the not real special counsel who was never confirmed by the Senate. Fake, illegitimate special counsel. Everything should be tossed out just based on that. She agreed to unseal the illegitimate special counsel's Jack Smith's evidence attached to the 165-page opening brief, which was already used to attack Trump last week. Or maybe earlier this week. I can't even remember. This is Jack Smith's dirty October surprise. Trump's lawyers earlier Thursday asked Judge Chutkan to keep Jack Smith's evidence appendix from public view. President Trump's lawyer argued in a 2-page filing that Jack Smith was trying to interfere in the election by publicly docketing more evidence in the January 6th case. Quote, there should be no further disclosures at this time of the so-called evidence that the special counsel's office has unlawfully cherry-picked and mischaracterized during early voting in the 2024 presidential election in connection with an improper presidential immunity filing that has no basis in criminal procedure or judicial precedent. Judge Chutkan immediately denied Trump's request on Thursday afternoon and agreed to unseal Jack Smith's evidence. Of course, Chutkan once again reiterated the election is of no consideration to her, but she paused her decision for 7 days so Trump's lawyers, quote, can evaluate litigation options. Julie Kelly posting over here on X, update, as expected, and with ink barely dry on Donald Trump's request to prevent the public docketing of Jack Smith's unsealed evidence appendix to his massive immunity motion, Tanya Chutkan denies the request, reiterates the election is of no consideration to her. I'm not thinking about the election at all, as I strangle you and demonize your candidate. And then stays her decision for 7 days so Trump's lawyers can seek judicial relief on the matter. Defendants' concern with the political consequences of these proceedings is not a cognizable legal prejudice. Really? Really? Oh, man. Oh, just gets crazier and crazier every day. Judge Chutkan earlier this month unsealed the 165-page immunity motion, arguing that Trump is pure evil and subjected to presidential immunity. She unsealed the monstrosity to do maximum damage, of course. And so now they're trying to add insult to injury by releasing the evidence. We'll have to pay attention and see if it ends up happening. How about this? Univision panics when they realize they showed Kamala Harris's teleprompter live on air during a town hall. Oh, man. Oh, man. There it is. There it is. Kamala Harris got caught using a teleprompter during Thursday night's Univision town hall in Las Vegas. Harris pandered to Latina voters by participating in a town hall hosted by Univision. The internal polls for Harris must be horrific. Of course, Kamala had to use a teleprompter because she has no clue what she's talking about. Univision panicked after they realized they showed Kamala's teleprompter live on air. As soon as the camera panned behind Kamala, the teleprompter went black. But it was too late. It was too late. Let's check out this clip from Benny Ben Johnson over here.
Victim of crime. Are you a Republican? Are you a Democrat? The only question I ever ask is, are you okay? And sadly, we have seen over the last 2 weeks since Hurricane Helene, victim of crime, are you a Republican? Are you a Democrat? The only question I ever ask.
Oh my God, dude. She's responding to this dude with a totally canned answer is what it looks like. I haven't seen like the full context of this, but this is massive. If this is what it's presented to be, that this dude came up and asked a question, which it should be off the cuff at a town hall. This indicates they had the questions pre-submitted. They let in specific people, and she had canned answers already for this circumstance, which is absolutely insane. And there's no cure for her condition, of course. Dirk. Or a threeper.
There's no cure for being
no cure. There's no cure for this affliction, unfortunately. Let's watch this again.
Victim of crime. Are you a Republican? Are you a Democrat? The only question I ever ask is, are you okay? And sadly, we have seen over the last 2 weeks since Hurricane Helene, victim of crime. Are you a Republican? Are you a Democrat?
Bro, and they cut off the teleprompter. You gotta be kidding me. It's all a show. It's all fake. She's a puppet. She's a James Hunt, too. Oh my God. She can't even form a cognizant sentence off the cuff. They have to all be election workers. Yeah, probably. It's too bad we don't get the next 10 seconds to see how she reacts to the prompter going off. If she continues talking or at least tries to. Absolutely hilarious. Let's hop over next to Black Conservative Perspective over on YouTube. Greg Foreman, MSDNC, fumes over far-left abandon Harris movement, destroying Kamala's campaign in swing states. Ruh-roh.
Telling us that we were
Look in
experiencing
the background. Abandon Harris 24. That's right.
And today that tantrum is a mountain. As we set course, they said that we would return to the Democratic Party days away from the election. Mr. President, Madam Vice President, we are 27 days away from the election. And today, proof that we are never going to return to the despicable leadership that you have modeled this past year.
And just as in previous eras, we see the collective forces of white
This guy's a fucking idiot. Listen to this dumbass.
supremacy gathering to demonize armed resistance to oppression, white supremacy, genocide, and European barbarism. Here we are again, this time with the black face of white supremacy, Kamala Harris, repeating...
You gotta be fucking kidding me. Tell me you have a 40 IQ without telling me you have a 40 IQ. But he's got big jaw muscles, though. So you can take him totally serious, guys. Billdozer almost at 400 follows. If you're new, if you're not already subscribed over to Billdozer74 on Rumble, head over and get him to 400. Billdozer74, join the Dozer Den. Has little killdozers and komatsus. Thursdays at 9:30 Central Time. Billdozer!
repeatedly debunked Hospira lies, rape allegations, always the prelude to every mass lynching in the United States of America, once again being deployed by white supremacists, this time to justify the mass lynching of the Palestinian people. The ignominious, infamous Kamala Harris and Joe Biden will go down in history as modern-day Nazis.
Look, I know y'all tired of me talking about Jill Stein. Look, I'm tired of seeing her on my timeline. And since y'all tired of me talking about her, let me just pass the camera over to somebody else who can talk about it.
What up, y'all? It's Booker Squared here. Yeah, so Jill Stein, the politician
Oh
cicada.
my God, her hair's been straightened. That's cultural appropriation. Alert.
Okay, the Houdini heifer who only shows up every 4 years to try to interfere in an election. She does not care about winning. She's made it very clear that she doesn't want to win. She wants 5% of the votes so she can get federal funding for the next election in 2028. She ain't trying to save nobody right now. She's not playing cap and save a hoe for y'all. She's just being a weak-ass bitch. Everybody is tired of her because she's been coming after other third parties who are actually doing the work, like Working Families Party, which is a party of brown and black people who are actually working up the ballot at the state, local, and federal level to try to make change. Yeah, she shit-talked them, probably because, unlike her, they are actually doing what they are supposed to do. So y'all need to quit falling for her grift. Thank you very much.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We have more terrible, terrible, terrible news for Kamala Harris, okay? Because like I've been telling you guys, Kamala is losing everybody, okay? The traditional voters of the Democrat Party are rejecting Kamala Harris in mass, okay? And the Democrats, historically speaking, have gotten the far left vote, okay? However, this time around, the far left is deciding that they're going to abandon Kamala Harris. In fact, they've created a whole group, a whole movement titled Abandon Harris because they feel like Kamala Harris and the Democrats aren't far left enough, which I know is something that is really hard to imagine, the Democrat Party, which is super far left, not being far left enough. But unfortunately, we do share a country with communists, okay? And these communists are mainly upset with Kamala Harris over being too pro-Israel when it comes to this war between Israel and Hamas, okay? And that has led them to mobilize voters against Kamala Harris, to not vote for her. Now, this mainly is important in swing states like Wisconsin and Michigan. Well, why is that? It's because Wisconsin and Michigan have significant Muslim voters, a significant Arab/Muslim population that typically votes Democrat. But if they don't vote Democrat, then that could affect the outcome of the election, because we know that Kamala Harris desperately needs to keep all the so-called Rust Belt states, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. She needs to keep those states, the blue wall, so to speak, in order to have a chance of winning. And this is a big deal because just today, I told you guys that Trump has basically officially flipped Michigan. I've been talking about Michigan a lot lately because, again, the polls have indicated that Trump is gaining momentum in that state very quickly, fast.
Super important.
And he's finally flipped the state in the polling averages, okay? Which means that he's probably up significantly considering how Trump tends to underperform in the polls. And with this endorsement of the Green Party candidate, Jill Stein, who is a far leftist, by the Abandon Harris group, which is composed mainly of Democrat voters who want to abandon the Democrat Party, that spells disaster for Kamala Harris based on what we've seen historically happen in the presidential elections, mainly in 2016, when Jill Stein was basically a spoiler candidate that stopped Hillary Clinton from being able to win that election. Take a look.
A progressive campaign group in Michigan is shifting their support away from the Democratic ticket, putting Democrats' hopes for a victory in the swing state in jeopardy. Abandon Harris, a group critical of the vice president, has endorsed Green Party candidate Jill Stein with specific intention to remove support from the Democratic Party.
We need to be clear about what our goals are. We are not in a position to win the White House. But we do have a real opportunity to win something historic. We could deny Kamala Harris the state of Michigan.
The group argues the Biden-Harris administration has abandoned progressive policies. Their endorsement of Stein is seen as a signal of disillusionment from the party's left-wing base and may affect Democratic turnout. The endorsement comes from a large demographic of primarily Muslim Americans in Michigan, citing anger at the Democratic Party for supporting Israel in the war with Hamas. Trump also has sided with Israel throughout his entire 2024 campaign, recently saying he is Israel's protector. A recent poll...
Don't side with either of these fucking places. Bring our money back here. America first. America first. We're funding both sides of the conflict over there. How about no? Let's not do that.
In the region shows 40% of Muslim voters backed Stein, while Trump and Harris trail behind at 18% and 12% respectively. Michigan is home to one of the largest Arab communities in the United States. Stein, a Jewish longtime progressive and Green Party candidate with anti-Israel sympathies, previously ran for president in 2012 and 2016. While her progressive platform includes environmental advocacy, universal health care, and economic reform, she is not without controversy. In past elections, Stein has been accused of being a spoiler candidate by some Democrats, who argue that her campaigns drew away votes from the Democratic Party, ultimately aiding Republican victories. Stein...
Right, it's just sanity. It's America first to not support Israel and to also not support any other foreign countries that aren't like, that don't, we're not directly involved with for some reason in a conflict.
Has defended her role, stating that voters deserve more options beyond the two-party system and that the Democratic Party must be held accountable to progressive values. The endorsement could have an effect on the election in Michigan in a race that is already tight. Stein's support may actually be significant enough to be noticed. When she last ran in 2016, Trump's victory margin was smaller than total Stein votes in key swing states.
Wow. So you see that, you heard that. 40% of Muslim voters in Michigan are going for Jill Stein.
I like when he says that too, Manny. So you seen that, you heard that. It's also really funny when Greg starts laughing out of control. Really funny. So, yeah, craziness. Hopefully Trump takes Michigan. as a result of Jill Stein siphoning votes away from shitbag leftards. Let's go ahead and terminate the YouTube broadcast while we're over here. Boom, just posted the link to this episode in the YouTube chat. So if you're watching, come join us on Rumble and X. Got to drag people over to alt tech until Google gets broken up and YouTube gets freed, hopefully. So if you can't make it, sorry to have to ditch you. We'll be back on Monday for more Common Censored. Until then, let's get ready to rumble.